Hi everyone, welcome to this chat. Today we are speaking with Dr. Akshay Singhal, founder and CEO at Log9 Materials. So Log9 Materials recently introduced their rapid charging batteries for electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers. With these batteries, the two-wheelers can be recharged within 15 minutes and three-wheelers in 40 minutes as opposed to 3 to 5 hours. So we want to understand from Akshay more about this technology and the business plans of Log9 Materials. So, Akshay, thank you for coming to this chat. What is the technology behind Log9's rapid charging batteries?
Thanks, Priyankshi. Thanks for having me over here. It's a pleasure. So, actually, if the reason of launching the rapid charging battery technology that we put up in the market for intracity vehicles is primarily from the perspective or the realization that we had in the market that we all talk about range as being a very big problem in the EV segment. But what we are doing is we are trying to kind of extend the same problem across all different platforms. Whereas if you look at the entire spectrum of vehicles, different vehicles have very different requirements and problems when it comes to the current EVs. So whereas at the smaller level, like two-wheelers and three-wheelers, their challenge is more so of the time it takes to charge the vehicle if you're really kind of using these vehicles for commercial fleet operations. And if the vehicle ends up getting charged for 3 to 5 hours, then your overall utilization of the vehicle goes down. And then there are other challenges in terms of consistent power performance of the vehicle because these battery packs are very small. And then at the same time, when the usage is commercial, then these batteries degrade very, very quickly. So every few years, every 2 years or less than that, the fleet operators have to change the battery packs, and that's a very huge added cost. So these are the more, so to say, prominent challenges on the two-wheeler, three-wheeler side. While on the other end of the spectrum, where, for example, buses and trucks for long haul, that definitely that the biggest challenge is range. So we realize that what is most important to solve for in this segment of your intracity vehicles is to solve for the charging time, uh, provide a pack which is very, very, so to say, high performance. So it can give you the kind of load bearing capacity, the acceleration, and the same time safety profile also to the vehicle, so that irrespective of what kind of temperature, what kind of humidity conditions, what kind of so to say stress is put on the battery pack, it is safe to use, and it will give you always the consistent performance. At the same time, we are able to kind of provide life on the pack which is more than 15 years on the battery pack, which is in comparison to 2 years of life on a normal lithium ion battery pack. So these are all of the things which our rapid charging battery packs are providing in the market, and hence we believe that it will be able to solve for larger adoption in the two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, also intracity kind of use case.
Right. And these are not lithium ion batteries. Am I right?
So it does involve lithium, but it is not your typical lithium-ion battery. So lithium is definitely involved, but it's a different chemistry altogether.
Okay. And what is Log9 Materials a part in the whole value chain when you finally deliver the pack? So for lithium ion batteries, typically the cells are coming from outside and they're being assembled in a pack here. But in your case, what part of the value chain are you responsible for?
So we are responsible for the entire value chain of the battery pack. We are one of the very few companies, I would say right now, the only company in India which is starting right from the materials level to cell production to module to pack production. And the idea is to kind of have control over this entire value chain, or basically be able to kind of add value in this entire value chain, where we are developing our own cell chemistries, our own materials which will go in cells, at the same time our own battery packs. So the idea is to kind of have 100% indigenization, at least from a battery manufacturing perspective, whether it's a cell level or a pack level.
Right. So the cells are being made in-house at your facility?
So we have a pilot level facility to make the cells at our end, which definitely needs to be scaled up. So although right now the packs that are going in the market are produced with procured cells, because we need to first create that demand in the market, but we do have our competency as well as technology and capabilities to kind of make the cells, and we are planning to kind of work or set up cell level manufacturing as part of the PLI scheme, which has been announced by the government. So within the next 2 years, the idea is to have our own cells going into our battery packs.
Okay. All right. So, what I understand is when you say it will take 15 minutes to charge an electric two wheeler, we're talking about the DC charging. That means you will bypass the onboard charger and directly charge the battery, right?
Yes, yes. So it will be directly charging the battery pack. Obviously, it is DC charging, and 15 minutes is actually we can even do 15 minutes in three wheelers. It's just that the availability of power on the grid also needs to be managed. So it is more driven by how much can we take away from the grid.
Right. Like most of the three wheelers in the market today and two wheelers also, they are charged through AC charging. And you are going with DC charging. So, what is the reason there? Why are the regular other batteries or the vehicle makers are not coming with DC charging on their vehicles?
So the thing is that the batteries that are being used currently in the two wheelers and three wheelers cannot take that much of power, cannot take much that amount of current to get charged. And if you try to kind of force that high amount of power and current in those normal batteries, they will degrade very quickly, and you will have to replace the battery packs in less than a year's time itself. So that's the reason, because the idea is to also to kind of keep the cost low and go for a cost-effective solution. That's always how the Indian ecosystem, especially in this two-wheeler, three-wheeler category, works. So if you try to push more power, these batteries will degrade very quickly.
And that is not the case with the batteries you are producing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, understood. So, apart from rapid charging, what are the other advantages your batteries will have over, let's say, an LFP or NMC battery, which are more commonplace?
So as I mentioned, rapid charging is only a small benefit as compared to the overall benefit that the batteries provide. So the other benefits include safety. So irrespective of any kind of accidental damage to the battery pack, there will be no risk of fire or explosion in the battery. You would have seen a lot of EVs catching fire, exploding, the battery pack exploding. Even Tesla battery packs have caught fire and stuff. There is absolutely no such risk in our battery packs. Even if you take the battery and cut it open with a hacksaw, or there is any kind of impact on the battery pack, it will not explode or it will not catch fire. That is very big benefit from an Indian perspective, because we typically have very rugged use of vehicles in the country, and also temperatures are much higher. That is one. Secondly, the life is very high. So instead of the battery running only for 2 years, we have a life of more than 15 years and potentially up to 30 years. From that perspective, there is no range degradation. One of the key challenges in commercial fleet operation is that when you're running an electric vehicle every month, your range is degrading. So even if you charge the battery full, it will not give you the same range as the last month. So it will keep on degrading. Where in our case, because the life is so large, you will not be able to see any major range degradation in the entire life of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you started with, I'll give you a very simple understanding of this. So if you take a normal electric vehicle with a normal battery, right, the range can degrade up to 30 to 40% in 2 years itself. So, for example, if you started with 70 kilometers of range on day one, you will end up around 50-45 kilometers in 2 years' time. Whereas in our battery, if you start with 80 kilometers today, you will hardly get to 78, 77 kilometers in 4 years' time. So from that perspective, there is hardly any range degradation as compared to the conventional battery packs. And then the third very important benefit is that, especially for commercial fleet operations, is that there is consistent power. So irrespective whether your battery is fully charged or whether your battery is 1% charge, even the vehicle will have the same kind of accelerations, top speed, load bearing capacity, which is not the case in normal batteries, because as the battery is discharging, then your current that can be drawn from the battery is going down. And in that case, the top speed acceleration of the vehicle goes down. And this has been a benefit that we didn't think of initially. Actually, our pilot customers told us about it, that they don't need to drop off heavier objects first, and now they can go back to their optimized route mapping for e-commerce deliveries.
Right, right. I understand you're doing pilots with some of the e-commerce and fleet operators for a month now,
Almost 3 to 4 months now.
3 to 4 months. So, any other learnings you would like to share from that pilot?
Yeah, so the two learnings were major. One is definitely consistent performance, and then also another important aspect that came in was the kind of uh, what is the degree of climb that the vehicle can kind of take care of. So, for example, if you take a normal lithium and the power performance is lower, so it cannot carry the entire load on a flyover. There have been incidences when the vehicle just can't go forward.
Mm.
which is not the case in our battery packs. Because when we can charge these batteries faster, we can also discharge them faster, and hence we can give you very high power output.
Right. And what changes will be required from the OEM side? Let's say they're switching from lithium ion LFP to your batteries. So, in their powertrain architecture, what all
There
changes?
has been there has been no change requirement on the OEM side. The way we have designed our entire battery tech is to basically have a plug and play solution. So as long as the battery can kind of fit in inside the same kind of envelope available in the vehicle, it is there is no further change required on the powertrain side.
Okay. And apart from the EV applications, do you see envision any other application areas
Oh
for?
yes, so because these batteries have very long life, so we are also targeting renewable energy grid level storage as an application. So because you have up to potentially up to 30 years of life on these battery packs. So one of the key challenges in deploying batteries for solar or wind farm storage is that every few years you'll have to change the battery, and that's a huge cost for somebody who's running a solar or wind farm. And as well as every 2 years, if you're replacing the battery packs, the cost becomes exorbitantly high, and hence storage based solar and wind have not been very viable so far. But with our batteries, that viability is coming out to be very, very obvious. And also, there will be no operational requirements of changing the battery pack throughout the life of the solar or wind farm.
Right, right. Coming back to electric mobility, let's come to the business model. So, what we understand is like in place of selling the batteries, you are planning to start a battery rental model with the fleet
Yeah.
operators. So, what is the rationale behind that?
So there are two reasons we want to do that. First one is that for the first time, the life of the battery is more than the life of the vehicle itself, right? So in that case, by retaining the ownership of the battery with us and putting it on a lease model, we can leverage the life of the battery for more number of vehicles,
Hmm.
right? And that is very good for the environment, because the same battery, whatever emissions or whatever impact to the environment has happened in getting that battery back, is actually divided across more number of kilometers or more number of vehicles. So that is one rationale. And the second thing is that we don't want to load the upfront cost of the battery pack to the customer on day one, because he's not kind of use the entire life of the battery anyways. There is no point of loading the entire cost upfront.
Right. And you are considering the fixed charging model right now, or are you also open to
No,
looking
no,
at swapping model? Or,
no, not swapping. This technology does not require swapping. It actually kind of takes away all the challenges which swapping has. See, if we had rapid charging to start with, nobody would have even thought of the concept of swapping in the first place. So because we had very slow charging technologies, that's the reason swapping came into picture. And swapping only kind of solves the problem of time it takes to charge. Swapping does not takes care of the life of the battery pack. Actually, it batteries on a swapping model degrade faster than batteries which are just charged properly. And at the same time, it does not take care of safety or any of those other benefits that I spoke about. Right. So the idea is to have fixed batteries in the system itself, which are available on a rental situation.
okay. Right. And what is the current scale of operations? I understand you're still in the pilot stage, but what is the current stage and what are your plans for next 2 to 3 years?
So we already have an order book of around 25,000 vehicle battery packs with us, which we'll start to kind of commercially roll out from October of this year. So right now we are scaling up our assembly capabilities in Bangalore, and with that plant, we'll start fulfilling orders from October onwards. The idea is to put around 5,000 vehicles, two, three wheelers, a mix of those, by the end of March of 22. So within this financial year, 5,000 vehicles will be on road with our battery packs inside, and then the next year we will like to scale that to 5 to 10x.
Right. Okay. And I think one last question. We know that you were very actively working on other energy storage technologies, one being aluminum fuel cells. So, what is the current status there? And looking at the PLI scheme, and it also has a incentive scheme for niche technologies. So, what is your take there? Do you think these will be these present you with any opportunities to set up manufacturing of these advanced technologies?
Yeah, absolutely. So PLI schemes, niche, especially the niche category of the PLI scheme, is what we are looking forward to for both our technologies, rapid charging as well as for our aluminum fuel cell technology. And particularly talking about aluminum fuel cells, so as I mentioned, different vehicles have different requirements. So while rapid charging is very viable for the intracity kind of vehicles, aluminum fuel cell is targeted towards the long haul trucks and buses and stuff like that. Because their range is the primary requirement, and what aluminum fuel cell provides you is a very long range. So once you put an aluminum cartridge inside, the vehicle can go for 1500 kilometers or plus. So that technology is targeted towards the long haul segment. But what we have realized is that the long haul electric mobility segment is yet to pick up in the market, and it will kind of be mature in the next 2 years time. So the idea is to kind of launch our technology in the market along with that maturity coming up in the ecosystem.
Right. So I think we'll also talk about the cost. If you can give us an idea of if compared to a similar battery capacity LFP pack, how will we compare Log9 Materials battery pack in terms of cost?
So basically, on a per kilometer basis, the cost of a, Log9 battery versus a typical LFP NMC battery pack is as low as half of what we have today in the market, because we have a much larger life on the battery pack itself. To give you a more relatable example, if you take a three-wheeler, which is we have already announced a partnership with Omega Seiki, right? So if you look at the Omega Seiki model, so in that case, with our battery and our kind of sort of say pricing model in place, the vehicle is coming out to be 15 to 20% cheaper than a diesel comparative vehicle. So the customer is saving money upfront, and on an ongoing basis, the cost per kilometer with all the features of very high performance, rapid charging, and everything in place is coming out to be around 2 to 2.2 rupees per kilometer, whereas compared to 3.5 rupees on a diesel three-wheeler. So from that perspective, end user is getting very good performance, a very comparable experience as compared to a diesel vehicle, but at lower upfront cost as well as lower running cost.
Okay. I think that's all the questions, Akshay. Thank you so much for your time, and I
Thanks,
wish
Priyanshi.
you and Log9 Materials the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.